Guys, welcome back to Front Row Seats. Today, we're recapping this weekend's fixtures. We're going to see how bad me and Ben are at predicting scores, and whatever we say is going to happen, bet the other way and you'll win money. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and my good friend Ben. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Matt. How are you? Hey, guys.
I'm good, man. I'm good, Well, hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully the news from Bojo's cheered everyone up a little bit. But let's get straight into the fixtures. Obviously, we start on Friday night. Wolves 1, Leeds 0. Unlucky goal, really.
Yeah.
I felt a bit peak for Leeds. I thought Leeds created some good chances. To be fair, for me, this was a draw. I thought a fair result would be a draw from what
definitely.
I watched. The XG had it at Wolves 0.91 to Leeds 2.73, but you expect nothing from Leeds. They always create stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, the goal disallowed, which was it offside? It probably was, to be fair. But with new rules and all that. But what do you make of the game, Ben? I thought it was a bit harsh on Leeds to lose.
It was harsh on Leeds to lose, but it was one of those when he looks against you in football. It was just an unlucky thing. He hasn't scored in 14 months because it classes as an own goal.
Yeah, it was an own goal, wasn't it? Yeah, because hit the post.
But no, it's set up to be a draw on it. Mm-hmm. It was literally, it wasn't the most exciting game. It wasn't the most dullest game. It was a mediocre game for two mid-table teams. Nothing special about it, really. Like you say, a draw would have been a fair result for both teams.
Yeah, and obviously, this sums up, the man of the match was Rafinha, according to the fantasy football. So that just shows you that, it was one of them games. Even I probably would have gave it to Neto. But, I
don't really think anyone was really man of the match, really. I think it was just it's just one of those games. I think Calvin Phillips back, if he was in that team, I think it would have been a different game for Leeds. But
yeah, 100%.
One of those, isn't it?
So next up, we had the 12:30 kickoff, which was obviously your boys, Chelsea, drawing 1-1 to Southampton. Minamino scored a very nice goal.
Yep, it was.
It was too easy for him to get him through, though.
Yeah, it was poor defending from the Cesar.
He sat him down, sat the keeper and turned it off down, slid it home. And obviously Mason Mount scored from penalty. A rash challenge from Danny Ings. I don't know what. I mean, that's just a
striker's challenge.
Yeah, he took the words out of my mouth. So, because obviously Chelsea fans, I want two your opinions. One, what do you think of the game? I think probably a draw was fair enough.
Yeah.
And two, what do you think of the Hudson-Odoi situation? Because as a neutral myself, I said this to another Chelsea fan because she did a video and she asked for my opinion. And I said to her, I hate it when managers do that. You've put a player on. That's your decision. Now you've got to stick with it and believe in him. I think it's not nice to see. But, so what do you think of those two things?
Well, first of all, I'm bored of this possession-based football at Chelsea already. I hate it. We don't create enough chances up front for what strikers and the quality we have got up there. I think at the moment he's playing 5 at the back pretty much because of our defensive frailties. Yeah. Which against Southampton you could see they lost 6 in the bounce. The way they was hyping the game up on BT Sport, I knew it was going to be a draw because they're getting the whole Chelsea won this many games, Southampton lost this many games. He's like, it's going to be a draw.
Yeah.
Again, not very many clear-cut chances for us. Man is the only creativity we have at the moment. Mm-hmm. With the Hudson-Odoi situation, I wasn't for Tuchel coming in. For me, I don't think he's done enough to warrant a club like Chelsea over the likes of Frank, in my personal opinion. A monkey could go and coach PSG to a title, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And that I'm not overly thinking of him. He's had problems with the board. He's had problems with players before. With Hudson-Odoi, I think he's been, since Tuchel come in, he's been one of the good shining lights for Chelsea. I think he's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think him coming out and criticising him like that publicly was massively wrong for the youngster. You're asking him to play right wing back, which is not his position.
Mm-hmm.
And he was creating chances. He's a right winger. What do you want more? He's creating chances. Yes, he's not tracking back. But I'm not being funny thing. The players had before, like PSG, like Neymar and Di Maria, they don't track back. So I've never seen him come out and criticise them.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if he starts tonight.
Of course,
it will, because obviously you have to go to Madrid. So it'd be interesting to see if he starts tonight.
Yeah.
which I think he has to, because at the end of the day, he's the one creativity that I am for us.
Are you sorry, going on to that now? Just quickly before obviously we'll keep it brief on. But what are you expecting out of this Atletico Madrid? Because Madrid are like Atletico Madrid will let you have the ball. They do not care if you have the ball.
You know what? I don't. It's a definite thing. Is I'm not overly fussed by results. For me, I'm more bothered about performances. If I can take a loss if we've given it 110%. You know what I mean? If the lads come off the pitch, like Cluffy says, give everything on the pitch. Coming off the pitch, knackered. That I think it's when players come off the pitch, it's like, oh yeah, and that's what pisses me off. I would take either 1-1 tonight or 0-0. If it was a ball, if it was a ball
over
fest,
2 legs, you'll beat them.
We have the potential to beat them.
But
on our day, we could beat anyone. On our day, we could beat anyone.
But is it fair to say that they're favourites? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say they're the favourites because the fact of the matter is they've got a great defensive organisation and a defensive coach. They're probably, in my opinion, probably one of, if not the best at beating all guys at the back. Don't concede a lot of goals.
They're the best defensive.
Do not concede a lot of goals. They have got a couple of injury problems. They've got probably the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah,
goal.
I'd agree with that.
Do you know what I mean? So it's how they turn up on the day. If Chelsea turn up like they did against Southampton, then I'm not waiting for the favourite. I can't expect anything to get out of the game. If we turn up like we did against Newcastle, I know this is obviously we're saying against teams like Newcastle or anything like that, but it's still you've got to turn up on the day and beat them.
Yeah.
Then I feel comfortable. For me, it's the first 15, 20 minutes. And for me, I feel we have to get a goal to progress, because the away goal, I think, because Atletico are so defensively good, the away goal will massively matter.
100%. All right, fair enough. Next game, we'll go back to England, back to Prem. It's all about English football. We've got Burnley, 0, West Brom, 0. Obviously, West Brom had a man sent off. Controversial. We won't talk about it too much. I'm fed up talking about controversial stuff in football. There's not much really to say. I thought West Brom were the better team, to be fair.
Agreed.
To create more chance. Nick Pope got man of the match, so that's what it said. So poor performance from Burnley. Probably West Brom feel like maybe if they had 11 men, they probably could have won that. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it.
It's one of those. I mean, if they had 11 men, they could have done. But is it because they've got down to 10 men, they had a bit more fight in them? Maybe. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I expected a performance off West Brom because I won't be feeling they're in the bottom 3. They need points. Yeah. They can't go into these games going, "Oh, we can't lose." You've got to go in and go, "We've got to win." It's. I mean, it doesn't matter if you could concede 6. You've got to go out there and play
100%.
now.
It was more of a loss. It was more of a loss for West Brom than it was Burnley.
Yeah, it was a massive 2 points drop for West Brom. Obviously, with the handball.
Yeah.
I can see why it's given. I think it's harsh.
I can see why though, because he would have been through.
I can see why, but it's one of those. It's catch-22, isn't it? West Brom were the better team. Burnley didn't turn up. Probably a draw was a fair result in the end, but West Brom could be one of those games. West Brom could come to the end of the season thinking, well, we should, if we won that game, what if? And that's how it is in the Premier League at the moment.
And then obviously the big game of the day was obviously the Merseyside derby, and for the first time since 1999, Everton went over to Anfield and got the win, and it was a very typical away performance. If that makes sense. You get the early goal, Richarlison, fantastic pass from
Rodriguez. There was absolute quality,
and then they just sat back and let Liverpool have the ball, and they were hard to beat. And then they got a very lucky. Don't get me wrong, Everton's. I still don't think it was a penalty.
No, I don't think it. There's a couple of replays. If you see it at normal time, it looks like it clips his leg, it clips his head and trips over. But if you actually watch a replay facing the goalkeeper, there's a replay of Trent Alexander-Arnold bring his foot up to deliberately trip him, and that's what the Premier League released from VAR saying that's why they get a penalty.
Fair enough.
So you could understand that, but it's still quite a harsh.
I thought it was very soft. He was already sliding, and he's gone past him.
But if that's your team, you're screaming for the penalty.
100%.
It's as simple as that.
Obviously, when they scored on the 82nd minute, that was game over. Honest to God, I don't know what's up with this Liverpool side. Whether you Liverpool were fantastic last year, and yes, they've had injuries. But my God, do they look like a?
I've listened to a lot of Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville on Monday Night Football, I highly rate them both. And I think Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville have summed it up perfectly. It's Liverpool's fourth year. Since they won the Champions League final, 3 years ago? They've won 2.
Oh, it would have been 3 years. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Since won the first one, not many of the players have changed. True. You look at the front three, it's always been Salah, Mane, Firmino. It's been 4 years now. They don't miss many games through injury. So they've had 4 years of a good 70 games a season, aren't there? Let's face it. That's a lot of games in 4 years. They maybe just burnt out. And the fact of the matter as well, as they say, because the defenders are out, they're also sacrificing the midfield by putting the midfielder and Jordan Henderson 100%. Into the defence, because 100%. Hendo would obviously hold that ball. He'd be like a Jorginho kind of for Chelsea. He's, you know what I mean? He controls the ball, passes it when he needs to be, forward thinking.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Liverpool, it's just downright confidence on at the moment. And I think tired. It wasn't a fantastic result, fantastic performance from Everton, but they did the job defensively.
100%.
Michael Keane was my man of the match. He got a beer. He was dogged. And then I don't like Pickford, but Pickford had a great game. He made some good saves. He was commanding in his box.
Pickford was fantastic.
And I think what shocked Klopp was the fact that Everton were playing 5 at the back. And I think that neutralised the effect of Mane, Firmino and Salah.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
True.
And obviously the midfield, Decore, he ran the show.
Yeah,
and then Rodriguez.
I would say one thing to Liverpool fans, if any Liverpool fans are listening. I would say, don't panic too much, because you're only a few, you don't have to make a few changes to your team to be back challenging for a title. Not this season. Next season. It's just the fact of the matter that as soon as Van Dijk's back and Gomez is back, they're back to the normal Liverpool team. And I'm not being funny or anything. Just at the end of the day, every top team goes through this. 100%.
Manchester United. Do you think Manchester United did it year in, year out without having a bit of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The Arsenal teams back in the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
I won't put Chelsea in that mark because they've won as many titles as, you know what I mean? So, nor back-to-backs. But, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's. I mean, look at City last year. City was shit last year, and everyone's criticised them, and every team goes through it.
100%. Yeah, and all they need, like you said, Van Dijk comes back.
Yeah, that's it. All these fans asking for Klopp to get out. I can't stand the bloke. But
he's a genius.
Go back to your crack and stay there, please. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because genuinely, you must know nothing about absolute
100%.
Because he has changed that mentality and the complex of that club. Down to the minuscule situations, you know what I mean? He's 100%. Changed the club and go get the title. And it's one of those, it's a tough time for Liverpool fans, but I can't see them not getting top 4. No, it's as simple as that, you know what I mean?
You think they'll get top 4, do you?
I think they've got too much to give to top 4. For me, top 4 is United, City, Liverpool, and then Leicester.
Oh, interesting. Well, we'll see.
How it is.
Fair enough. I don't think Liverpool do make it, but we'll see. Last game of thing, we'll talk about it briefly. Basically confirming Sheffield United's relegation. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Fulham won. Sheffield United won. We did correctly guess that we said Fulham would win. So we got this one right at least. Fulham were good again. It wasn't the best of games, to be fair. No. But like we said though,
job done.
Like we said, if you watched the episode on Friday, we said if Fulham win and Newcastle drop points, it's going to get very interesting. And this is exactly what's happened. Obviously, we'll go to Sunday in a minute. And this is a massive result for Fulham. And obviously, I don't want to talk about it too much because obviously we did on Sunday and Monday games. But I've got to give Fulham credit. And I generally believe, I'm saying it now, on the 23rd of February, 2021, that Fulham will stay up. I don't know who will go down, but Fulham are staying up.
On the run of form, I have to agree with you. End of the day, in that game, I think Fulham got the job done, as we say.
100%.
And they did what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm. They did.
The biggest win for Fulham is the fact that Callum Wilson's out for Newcastle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, 100%. And they got the striker Marja, who is good in form at the moment. He's just come from a new club and he's good in form for him. And they don't concede goals. And that's the biggest thing for Fulham.
The fact they have, credit where credit is due.
Yeah. Scott Parker's done a number on them defensively. He's done really well. So it's going to be interesting next one, a couple of games. I think the next 3-4 games could settle it, if I'm being honest.
100%. And the last game of the season is Fulham versus Newcastle, which will be mental.
As it stands at the moment, I think Fulham would go up, but I think say by a couple of goals though.
Oh no,
Goals.
Fulham have got 6 better goal difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. So we go to Sunday. Obviously, West Ham beat Tottenham. You got this one right.
I did.
You said 2-1 West Ham. So credit is due. Jay Lings is actually turned West Ham is actually making West Ham good going forward.
Yeah.
Antonio got the goal. To start off with, Tottenham was slightly gates again. They looked like first off, you were like.
It took them 2-0 to get started. It took them to get 2-0 down to actually start playing football.
They started playing football, and then to be fair, you could already say they may have been able to pinch something.
Lucky not to get a draw at the end, towards the end.
But West Ham I'll tell you what, mate. Obviously, as me being a neutral, and I don't have any relationships to any Premier League clubs. I'm loving. I'm on for the West Ham hype. Champions League coming to Hammers.
It's my thing. I always love the fact about somebody new could go to Champions League football, as in like Everton, West Ham, stuff like that. It's always enticing, and it's always because it's good for that club.
Yeah,
and it brings the light to the Premier League that it is the best league in the world, because how many teams can fight for those positions? It's not like Italy, where it's Juve, Inter, AC, Napoli, and all that, and other clubs and such forth. So that's nice to have it. And yeah, West Ham, who can stop them at the moment? It's a very, the thing that impressed me the most, they haven't got world-class players. I mean, Lingard's come in and he's changed the attacking lineup of that team, and I think he's come out with a point to prove. Yeah. And I think he will sign for West Ham at the end of the season, full term. But man, I'm going to point out Souček here. There's a point where he got hit in the face, and he cut the top of his eyebrow. And instead of like going down like all the rest of the pussies would do in Premier League, he got back up and made sure he was blocking his goal for his team.
Yeah.
Now that mentality from David Moyes is fantastic. That's it. Yeah. They're built differently this season. It's last season
changed them completely.
Yeah, he's got rid of his dead wood, and he's brought in the mentality that he wanted, and it's done wonders for him.
Like, we'll die 3 points basically.
Yeah, that's it, and that's it, and that's the mentality you need, and that's what's doing it for him. And the fact of the matter, they're taking the chances. Declan Rice in midfield is looking fantastic.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So they've got a team of. I'm not going to be horrible to West Ham or anything like that, but they've got a team of like average players.
I'd say on paper you're looking around 9th, aren't you, in the Prem?
Yeah, you're looking mid-table. I'm no disrespect to me. West Ham, they're doing a fantastic season. Don't get me wrong, but on the beginning of the season, you've gone right. Last season, basically mid-table.
Some people were getting them to get relegated at the start of the season.
Yeah. But they're doing a Leicester. They've got average players, but it's the mentality, the work rate, the teamwork that's done it for them. Not the individuality of like Bruno Fernandes, Man United.
I hope they do it.
I hope they do it. Wonderful.
Next up was another team that's actually flying, and to be fair, I haven't given enough credit, but I think I'm going to start giving them more credit. It's Leicester. They went to Villa Park 1-2-1. Villa were without Matty Cash and Jack Grealish. And maybe in the end, Villa probably should have thought they could have come away with a point. But another away win for Brendan Rodgers and Leicester. And I think, if I'm not going to lie, a few weeks ago I said, and I put my hands up, I said, Leicester not making top 4. But I think they're going to comfortably make top 4. I really do. They're flying. They're playing exciting football. There's no doubt in my mind that Leicester get top 4. Yeah, 100%. I actually enjoy watching them. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about it briefly because we've still got a few games to go. But overall, I'm very impressed with Leicester. Good win away from home, especially at Villa Park. Always a tough place to go. Villa are going to struggle now without Grealish for a month. They really are. Yeah, they'll probably fall down the table a little bit. Nothing. They're mid-table. They don't threat.
They're not going to get relegated for that. It's just going to be mid-table.
Their dream of like Europa League has probably disappeared now. But no, for Leicester definitely going to probably finish third. What do you think of the game?
Villa weren't Villa. There was poor. There wasn't up to their normal standards. Well, that was because they lost the energy of Matty Cash down the right, which we both know is fantastic. Grealish on the left, they're missing the creativity, the hold-up play.
Yeah.
It was not a thing. Leicester did the job, got it done. 1-2-1.
100%.
Could have been more for either team, but I think
Leicester just picked it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think the 2-1 was a fair result for Leicester.
100%. And then the game that normally has a lot of goals in finished 1-0 to Man City. They did have XG of 2.07. My point from this, I don't know if you watched the game.
Yeah, I did.
But Man City started off, obviously they got the goal 2 minutes in. Holding, that's shocking from Holding, shocking from Bellerin. How does Sterling, who's like 5'7" win a header, but great header by Sterling. Lovely.
Oh yeah.
First half now, Man City were tearing them apart. I thought this could be 3-4, 5-0. And then they realised, I think Man City realised, we could just stay in gear one. Because Arsenal didn't create anything. And what frustrated Arsenal fans, which I know while listening to like Arsenal fan TV and looking online, was in the last 20 minutes, Arsenal didn't go for it. It's like they'd rather lose 1-0 and not go for it, than rather go for it and lose 2 or 3-0. I'm like, go for it. Like, put them under pressure. But Man City, mate, if they want to, I think they could have gone 1, 2, 3 gears up.
Oh, easily. I won't be funny. I think with that game, it was literally a training game for City. It really honestly was.
They were fantastic. They were just typical City, wasn't it?
I'm on with even if that goal didn't go in for Sterling, it was a matter of when, not if, for City.
Yeah, 100%.
That first half, the fluidity and everything.
So nice to watch.
It was nice to me with De Bruyne, even though his number not his best, was still tearing that Arsenal defence.
Second half,
the problem of Arsenal is without Thomas Partey, there's no fluidity in that midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Xhaka looks like a lost child in a department store.
Odegaard looks lost. I've got to admit, I'm excited for him. He's hardly touched the ball, honestly.
Yeah, Bellerin is overrated.
Is he rated anymore, though?
No, he's never been rated. But you know what I mean?
Holding should not be playing for Arsenal.
Holding, you know what? I'll stick up for Holding a bit, because obviously before that game, he actually had a few good games where he actually did well.
And
he actually kind of think, but it's not. I don't think is for Arsenal to want to get back to the Champions League. I don't think he's that kind of player.
Especially when you got Sterling beating you to a head.
And yeah, like you said, it was a very weird mentality from Arsenal not to go for it. I'm not being for anything. If I'm Arteta, I'm thinking, get Arsenal gear, get up that pitch, just try something. You never know, a deflection, a corner, you just never know. And it just felt like Arsenal had one eye on the Benfica game. Well, one eye, both eyes on the Benfica game.
I could not agree more.
And for me, if that was the mentality of thinking, like, okay, we'll save a players from Benfica, then drop Aubameyang, drop Holden, drop Leno, drop your best players, bring out a team that doesn't play. And go for Benfica, because I'm not even. Let's face it. Even if they beat Man City the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Say 2-1, 1-0, whatever. Where would they? They wanted to move up the table much, and they still would have gone for the Europa League or Champions League. And to the Arsenal fans, I think they could have done it.
But you'd always want your team to go for it no matter where you go.
Yeah, but of course you do. But you have to prioritise your games. Now, Arsenal's best chance to get into the Champions League is by winning the Europa League.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Man City game of the weekend, and I watched off Fan TV and seen it's a big game for Arsenal. It's not a big game for Man City. Do you know what I mean? And Arsenal fans are keeping themselves saying it's a big game. This season it's not, because at the end of the day, your big games is the Europa League and your cups. Yeah. And you threw the FA Cup away for no reason. Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? You need to make sure you get through the Europa League to actually have a chance to get into the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to go up the table anymore.
But I would say one thing though, like when you talk about, I get what you're saying, like be ready for, like, you know, Vera's gonna be on Thursday. But the problem with that is, if they get knocked out on Thursday, which they could do, which I don't think they will, the season's over. Yeah,
but the thing is though, they didn't rest any of the players. Do you know what I mean? It's Thursday. They've got to travel, and they're playing Saturday night. Sunday night, I should say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know.
And it's like for me, it's about of what. If he rested players and they got knocked out on Thursday, you go, well, at least we rested players. The result of City wouldn't have changed much difference anyway. We just gave everything to the Europa League. If he gets knocked out in the Europa League now, right? He should have rested Aubameyang for on Sunday. He should have rested Saka, and he should have rested Odegaard and whatever. And that's the question going to be asked. Do you know what I mean? It's about. Like I say, it's regardless the result. Even if they beat City and they put on a great performance, all they would have done would have helped the teams like Leicester out, Man United out. We wouldn't have done anything else to the league.
True, but it might give them a bit of confidence, but fair enough.
But the confidence, the fact about it is the Premier League's gone for them. They're not doing anything in the league. It's just going to check Europa League. It's a cup day. Confidence and form kind of goes out the window there, because it's just you're playing for that one day.
True, I know what you're saying, but I just feel like you should take it away.
I don't know, but obviously you should win all the games you can, but it's when he got to fight for.
I hate that excuse. If they played Sunday, they tie on Thursday. I hate that excuse. But
no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Next up, Man U did the job. on Newcastle. They won 3-1. Well, actually had them beating them a lot bigger.
Yeah, but
1.69 to
that
0.45.
3-1 was flattering for United.
Yeah,
Did
but
you
they
watch the
got the
game?
yeah, but they got the job. That's what I'm saying. I
They
didn't
got the
say the
job done,
thing.
yeah,
They got the
but
job done.
there was very shit. There was a
Uh,
very poor United performance.
True,
And
but
I won't be funny. I think if Callum Wilson was in that game, it'd been a completely different outcome. But
maybe.
again,
But
you can't go on ifs and buts.
yeah, 100%. Obviously, not much to talk about it. Man U climb up second again. Man U are definitely making top four again. Same with Leicester. It's just a battle for fourth now. Top three sorted. I think the top three will stay how it is. I think it'll be Man City, Man U, City. Yeah, not much to talk about that. And then obviously last night, I think we watched a robbery from uh the biggest robbery of the season. So this is Brighton Palace. I'm gonna tell the stats to people who haven't watched it. Brighton had XG of 3.03, where Palace's XG was 0.27, right? And if I look quickly at the stats, it's something mad like Palace had 3 shots and 2 on target. And I think this is, let me have a look now. Obviously, Benteke got a last minute winner. Now, here's the stats 25 shots for Brighton, 3 for Palace. But only 5 of them shots for Brighton were on target. But only 2 were on target for Palace. Made all 2. Possession was 75 Brighton, 25 Palace. Passes was Palace only made 250 passes. They had no corners, Palace. No corners. Brighton had 13 corners, right? And Palace somehow, with the shithouse of the century, won 2-1 with a fantastic flick, by the way, from the new lad. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name.
And then
Mateta or something like that. And then obviously Benteke the last one. I want to say it wasn't deserved, but obviously the scoreline is the amount that matters. But Brighton must feel a bit harsh because Palace has got Palace. I need to report a fucking crime to the Brighton police because there's been a massive robbery there.
It's one of those, isn't it? The Palace took the chances.
Oh
It's
yeah,
as simple as that. There's clinical,
literally,
literally too. But you just feel there's a 2 points loss of Brighton, but it's not going to do anything for the league for them. Is it for any of the teams?
No,
it might help Palace out. Palace out with the relegation.
Yeah, so I'd say Palace are safe now because they're now 10 points clear of third from bottom Fulham. But it's the point I want to bring to you. So I'm looking at the table right now, and I think Burnley is 6 points clear of Fulham. I think Burnley are safe. I really do. But Brighton's on 26, which is only 4 points clear of Fulham. Obviously, Newcastle's 3 points clear. And I think it's going to be a 3-horse race. Now, I said Brighton to get relegated. So if Brighton get dragged into it and get relegated, I'm a fucking genius. But the only thing that worries me about Brighton is they've only won 5 games.
Mm.
And I think the home record, they've got 10 points out of 13 games.
But out of those 5 wins, look who they beat.
Yeah, 100%. But like,
I don't worry about Brighton.
Tough. So you just worry about Newcastle then?
I think Newcastle fans have to be worried.
I think they have to be petrified.
Because the fact, like I say, Callum Wilson's out for 2 months, good 2 months.
And Fulham are starting to thingy now.
And Fulham are getting results. That's the team for me that I would be worried about.
I mean,
because if Fulham come out, I'm thinking there's enough points difference between Brighton, Palace, and Burnley between them all. Because you're going to think about it, is if everyone beats Newcastle, then that you know what I mean. You've got to feel like, where's Newcastle goals coming from?
St. Maximin's that only hope, isn't he?
Well, Almiron gets a couple every now and once in a blue moon, but he's more creative. And that's it. It's Joelinton looks like a biggest waste of money in God's green earth kind of situation, and that for me is the biggest worry. The rest of the teams, if you're asking me honestly, the rest of the teams but Newcastle, I can see them doing a shock result. I know I said them to beat Newcastle, Man United the weekend, but
yeah,
it was what it was. I'll throw one in there for Bants. But Brighton, I could see them getting a result against something like that against Spurs, Liverpool. Yeah, you know what I mean? You can see that. Burnley,
Newcastle.
You can see that with Burnley with beating Liverpool and getting results and do something doing. You know what I mean? Newcastle, I just can't see it. If I'm being honest,
no,
you've got to actually question yourself.
100%.
If they can't even beat the teams that are below them or near them, how are they going to get a shock result against other teams? And that's the thing for me. If you look over the great relegation survivors over the course of things. Look at Sunderland a few years ago when they went on that crazy run and beat the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool and all them lads. And the same thing, the shot results.
Yeah.
Over the course of those next 12 games, 13 games, there's going to be a couple of shot results.
100%.
And I can't see Newcastle getting in it.
No, I mean,
we're Fulham. They're playing very good football. They're defensively organised.
Yeah, I mean,
goals.
100%, mate. I couldn't agree
Palace. If Palace lost against Brighton, then I would have said I think Palace and Newcastle would have been in a massive scare for their lives. But because Palace got that 3 points, I think that will help him out massively.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going to preview because obviously we'll do that on Friday. But I'm looking at this Saturday's games. Newcastle's got Wolves, right? And I don't think Wolves will win that. Obviously, we'll do it. I'm not even talking about it just briefly.
Yeah.
But Fulham's got Palace, and that's a winnable game for Fulham. So, like, by
6 points, isn't it?
By Sunday, you're looking at
Newcastle in the bottom 3,
and then Steve Bruce's job, I think, will be on the line. Then the owners will be like, shit, because if the owners only care about selling, we're going to make more money from a Prem club than a Championship club.
Of course, but the fact of the matter is you've got to look at it as a situation. What manager will come in now and guide him out of it?
Yeah, true.
Who could... Newcastle are a good club, do you know what I mean? It's the owner that's cocked them, really. My question is,
100%.
do you know what I mean? But you've got to look at it and think, right, Sam Allardyce, who obviously gets teams out of relegation zones at West Brom, so you can't get him. David Moyes, who does it, is at West Ham doing fantastically well. So who could Newcastle get if they sack Steve Bruce?
5-year contract.
No,
7 years.
But that's it, though, isn't it? It's obviously I know Benitez is obviously available at the moment, but would Michael just smash the cash?
100% no.
So you've got to ask that question. I mean, you say Steve Bruce is on the line, but who can they get to replace him?
God knows.
Unless they do. Obviously, there's a talk a couple of weeks ago of Frank Lampard going there.
Yeah, maybe, mate. I mean, we'll wait and see. Obviously, thinking, but we'll quickly. There's a game on tonight. Leeds, Southampton. Just give me a quick score prediction for that one. Leeds are at home, 1-1. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Leeds win. I think they're due a win. And I think Southampton, even though they did get a draw against Chelsea, I still think they're on a bit of a not a great run at the minute.
We'll see if it stopped the rot, mainly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. We'll see if it stops the rot, because Southampton can take a lot of positives out of that game. You know what I mean? Leeds, like you say, not getting many results, but Leeds with what we get with Leeds is what you get is very attacking football, entertaining football. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens.
100%. Also tomorrow, because it's coming out on Tuesday, on Wednesday, we'll be live streaming. Big Man's going to be watching the Atalanta and who is it again?
Real Madrid
game.
My Spanish team.
I will be watching the Man City Mönchengladbach game. We'll both be on stream at the same time. We'll both be giving our thoughts of the games we're watching. So yeah, make sure you come and check out our Twitch. It'll be in the description below. It's Ben's first time on Twitch, so come say hello to him. Looking forward to it. I'm sure he is too.
Yeah, definitely.
Ben, thank you for coming as always.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
No worries, guys. If you're new around here, make sure that like button, hit that subscribe button, and talk in the comments. Let us know, how did your team do this weekend, and who do you finish in the top 4? Cheers, boys.
Take care.